Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll learn about a shocking and deadly twist in ABC's General Hospital, a dark and ruthless storyline that pulls no punches. Buckle up, because what starts as a scheme quickly spirals into blackmail, betrayal, and cold-blooded murder. In recent episodes of General Hospital, one character has taken center stage in one of the most dramatic and chilling turns the show has seen in years. Her name is Jacinda, and she's no stranger to risky business. Living on the edge of society and surviving as a sex worker, Jacinda knows how to manipulate, seduce, and play people against each other. But in the cutthroat world of Port Charles, sometimes even the most seasoned players overestimate their hand. Jacinda was recently recruited by Nina, a woman desperate to protect her image and dismantle her enemies. Nina's target was Drew, a character whose influence and reputation stood in the way of her own ambitions. Nina needed Drew's credibility destroyed and fast. So she enlisted Jacinda to seduce him and smear his name. The plan worked. Drew's image took a hit, but instead of gratitude, Jacinda received a mere $5,000 for her work, an amount that left her furious. To Jacinda, the payment was an insult. She had taken a personal risk. She had put herself in danger, and worst of all, she'd watched Nina, who lived comfortably and moved in elite circles, treat her like disposable trash. That's when Jacinda's survival instinct kicked in. She decided she wasn't going to be anyone's pawn. If Nina thought she could get away with using her, she had another thing coming. What Jacinda knew could ruin Nina completely. If Drew ever found out that the woman who manipulated him into sleeping with someone was actually the one who set it all up, there would be hell to pay. Nina's position, her relationships, her ambitions, they'd all come crashing down. Jacinda had power now, and she intended to use it. Jacinda made her move. She confronted Nina and demanded $50,000 in exchange for her silence. The threat was clear: pay up or she'd blow the whole thing wide open. She'd tell Drew everything, that the seduction was orchestrated, that it was Nina pulling the strings, and that the whole thing was a calculated betrayal. But Jacinda had made a fatal mistake. She underestimated just how dangerous Nina could be when cornered. Nina saw the writing on the wall. She knew if she gave Jacinda the $50,000, it wouldn't stop there. Blackmailers never stop. One payment leads to another, and another, until you're completely drained. Nina couldn't let that happen. She had worked too hard and come too far. She couldn't let Jacinda control her future, not with what was at stake, so she did what she believed was her only option. Nina made a plan to kill Jacinda. She lured her out to a secluded location by the river, pretending she was ready to hand over the money. It was supposed to be a clean deal. Quick, no witnesses. She told Jacinda to meet her at dusk. She said she'd bring the money, but instead she brought a gun. The confrontation at the river was brief, intense, and tragic. Jacinda showed up expecting to collect her payday. She may have even believed she had the upper hand, that she was the one in control. But when Nina pulled the weapon, the tables turned instantly. A single shot. A body collapsing to the earth, and then silence, followed by the rush of water as Nina pushed Jacinda's body into the river and watched it disappear. It was the first time Nina had killed someone. The weight of it hit her like a brick. The fear, the guilt, the irreversible nature of what she'd done. But even in the middle of her panic, Nina knew she couldn't take it back. It was done. There was no turning around. Jacinda was gone, and with her the threat of exposure, at least for now. Nina returned home that night, not as the woman she had been, but as someone new, someone who had crossed the line and could never return. The secret she had tried to protect had now consumed her life in the worst way, and she would carry the consequences with her forever. But the danger isn't over. Jacinda's disappearance hasn't gone unnoticed. She may have lived on the fringes of Port Charles society, but people knew her. People noticed when she didn't show up, and rumors are already swirling. Questions are being asked. Did she run? Did something happen to her? Who was she last seen with? And what about the river? Bodies don't always stay buried, especially not in General Hospital. Nina now finds herself in a pressure cooker. Every passing day brings new risks. The police might reopen cold cases. Drew might start connecting dots. Someone might stumble across a piece of evidence, a footprint, a shell casing, a witness. Nina may have gotten away with murder, but she's not in the clear, not by a long shot. The irony is brutal. Nina killed to protect her secret, but now the murder itself is the secret, one that could destroy her in even worse ways than Jacinda ever could have. And then there's the psychological toll. Nina's internal world is starting to crack. Flashbacks, nightmares, A growing paranoia that someone is watching. Every knock on the door makes her flinch. Every glance from someone in town feels like suspicion. She begins making mistakes, forgetting lies she's told, snapping at people, drinking too much, losing control. The guilt is eating her alive. What happens next could go in any direction. Will Drew uncover the truth and finally realize Nina betrayed him in the worst possible way? Will the police find Jacinda's body and launch a murder investigation? Will someone else learn the truth and start blackmailing Nina themselves? And what about Nina herself? Will she confess, break down, or will she double down and spiral further into darkness? One thing's for sure, in Port Charles, secrets don't stay buried, and when blood hits the water, sharks start circling. Next, we will dive deep into the thrilling twists and dramatic turns awaiting us in the week of May 19th, 23 on General Hospital. From earth-shattering family revelations at the iconic Nurses' Ball to unexpected romantic entanglements and hidden agendas coming to light, Port Charles is buzzing with chaos and intrigue. Let's unpack the juicy details, explore new dimensions to these storylines, and imagine the emotional roller coaster that lies ahead for our favorite characters. Nurses' Ball explosions. Dante Falconeri's life turned upside down. The Nurses' Ball, one of Port Charles's most glamorous events, is set to be the backdrop for a life-altering bombshell that could shatter Dante Falconeri's world. Rumor has it that Lulu Spencer, ever the determined investigator, has been hot on the trail of a long-buried secret. Her relentless pursuit may finally pay off as she uncovers irrefutable evidence about Giovanni Gio Palmieri's true parentage. According to whispers around town, Gio is none other than the son of Dante and Brooklyn Quartermain, a revelation that could send shockwaves through multiple lives. Imagine the scene, the glittering Nurses' Ball in full swing, with Gio possibly taking the stage to showcase his prodigious violin skills, unaware of the storm brewing around him. Will Lulu choose this very public moment to unveil the truth, or will she bide her time weighing the consequences of such a revelation? Dante, a man who prides himself on knowing the ins and outs of his own life, will be blindsided by this news. He had no inkling that Brooklyn was ever pregnant, let alone that she gave birth to his child years ago. The emotional fallout promises to be intense. Picture Dante's face as the realization dawns, a mix of confusion, betrayal, and perhaps a flicker of longing for the years he missed with his son. How will he process this massive oversight in his past, especially under the bright lights and watchful eyes of the Nurses' Ball attendees? This isn't just a personal crisis, it's a public spectacle waiting to unfold, with every glance and whisper from the crowd amplifying the tension. Brooklyn, on the other hand, is in for a heart-wrenching surprise of her own. Having formed a deep bond with Gio without knowing his true identity, the news that he is the baby boy she gave up long ago will likely overwhelm her with a flood of emotions. She has spent years carrying the weight of that decision, perhaps replaying in her mind the moment she said goodbye to her newborn. Now seeing Gio on stage, his talent shining as brightly as the chandeliers above, Brooklyn might struggle to hold back tears of joy and regret. Yet this reunion is bittersweet. She'll soon have to face Dante's inevitable questions and perhaps his anger for keeping such a monumental secret. Their confrontation could be a raw, unfiltered exchange of past pains and unspoken truths, setting the stage for a complex journey of reconciliation or further conflict. Nurses' Ball glamour and gaffes. Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis's awkward encounter. While the Nurses' Ball is known for its elegance and philanthropy, it's also a hotbed for unexpected drama and mix-ups. This year, Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis are slated to find themselves in a particularly cringe-worthy situation. As the red carpet dazzles with stunning gowns and sharp tuxedos, and reporters swarm for exclusive scoops, Cody and Molly might be mistaken for a romantic pair. Picture the scene: a journalist, eager for a headline, approaches them with a microphone, gushing about what a lovely couple they make. The pair, caught off guard, could stumble over their words, their cheeks flushing as they attempt to clarify their platonic relationship, or they might play along for the sake of avoiding an even more awkward correction. This mix-up, while initially embarrassing, could plant a seed of curiosity for both Cody and Molly. Neither has been particularly lucky in love recently, and their shared moment of laughter over the misunderstanding might spark a genuine connection. Could this be the universe's way of nudging them toward a budding romance? As they navigate the glitz of the Nurses' Ball, exchanging shy smiles during slow dances or sharing a quiet joke away from the crowd, fans might start rooting for this unlikely duo. Their chemistry, even in this fleeting moment, could foreshadow a deeper storyline, adding a touch of lighthearted intrigue to the heavier dramas unfolding around them. Stolen Moments and Dangerous Secrets, Jordan Ashford and Isaiah Gannon. Amid the nurses' ball festivities, not all stories will revolve around public spectacles. Some of the most poignant moments will happen in the shadows. Jordan Ashford and Isaiah Gannon, whose relationship has been strained by circumstance, are set to share a private, tender exchange that tugs at the heartstrings. Jordan, ever the fierce protector of justice, has put her personal desires on hold to focus on taking down the nefarious Jen Sidwell. This mission has forced her to distance herself from Isaiah, declining what could have been a magical night as his date under the nurses' ball's twinkling lights. Instead, they'll steal a fleeting moment, perhaps in a quiet corner of the venue, away from prying eyes where unspoken feelings linger in the air. Imagine the longing in their eyes as they reminisce about what might have been. Could this moment lead to a secret kiss? A brief lapse in Jordan's steely resolve? The stakes are high, especially if Sidwell, with his knack for sniffing out vulnerabilities, catches wind of their interaction. A suspicious glance from him across the crowded ballroom could spell danger for Jordan's undercover efforts, adding a layer of suspense to an otherwise romantic interlude. This subplot promises to balance heartbreak with thrilling tension, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats as they wonder whether love or duty will prevail. Family Secrets and Confrontations, Curtis Ashford and Portia Robinson. Away from the nurses' ball's sparkle, Curtis Ashford is on a mission of his own, digging into questions that have been gnawing at him for weeks. His target? Portia Robinson, whose recent behavior has raised eyebrows. Curtis, with his sharp instincts, senses that Portia's staunch defense of Drew Kane isn't as innocent as it seems. In a tense, emotionally charged scene, he'll corner her, demanding to know why she's become Drew's unexpected champion. Is it possible that Portia is hiding a deeper connection to Drew's schemes? Or could she be grappling with blackmail that forces her hand? The air will crackle with unspoken accusations as Curtis presses for the truth, his frustration palpable after feeling sidelined by her evasiveness. This confrontation could peel back layers of Portia's carefully constructed facade, revealing vulnerabilities or secrets she's fought to protect. Perhaps she's shielding someone else in the family, or maybe her alliance with Drew stems from a desperate bid to secure a future for herself and her loved ones. As Curtis pushes for answers, the dynamic between them might shift. Will this be a moment of breaking trust, or could it pave the way for a renewed bond built on honesty? The outcome of this clash will ripple through their relationship, potentially altering alliances across Port Charles. Hidden truths and unexpected curveballs, Drew, Nina, and Willow. Speaking of Drew Kane, his web of secrets continues to ensnare those around him, particularly Willow Corinthos and Nina Reeves. While the nurses' ball provides a dazzling distraction, the undercurrents of deception run deep. Drew is harboring truths that could devastate Willow if they come to light mid-event. Imagine her, radiant in a gown, laughing with friends, only to be blindsided by a whispered rumor or a pointed question from an unexpected source. Similarly, Nina, who has her own hidden agenda, might find herself navigating a minefield of lies that threatens to unravel at the worst possible moment. The nurses' ball's festive atmosphere could serve as a cruel contrast to the personal crises brewing for these characters. Willow, in particular, might face a curveball that challenges her trust in those closest to her. Perhaps a stray comment from a well-meaning guest or an overheard conversation exposes a crack in Drew's carefully crafted narrative. The emotional toll of such a discovery, especially in a public setting, would be immense, forcing Willow to mask her turmoil behind a strained smile. Nina, ever the survivor, might attempt to spin the situation to her advantage, but at what cost? This storyline promises a slow burn of tension, with the potential for explosive confrontations as the week progresses. Academic rivalries and power plays, Emma Scorpio Drake and Jocelyn Jacks. Lastly, the younger generation of Port Charles isn't immune to drama, as Emma Scorpio Drake and Jocelyn Jacks clash over a heated academic dispute. Emma is convinced that Jocelyn sabotaged her shot at a prestigious research assistant position by stealing her work, a serious accusation that could tarnish reputations and fracture friendships. Picture Emma, fueled by righteous anger, confronting Jocelyn with evidence she's painstakingly gathered, her voice trembling with a mix of hurt and determination. Jocelyn, caught in a tricky spot, will need to defend herself against these claims, potentially relying on her quick wit and the support of her ally Vaughn to turn the tables. This rivalry isn't just about grades or accolades. It's a battle of pride and integrity, with both young women fiercely protective of their futures. Will Jocelyn manage to outmaneuver Emma, or could this conflict expose deeper insecurities and past grudges between them? Perhaps their feud spills into the nurses' ball itself, with sharp words exchanged in hushed tones amidst the celebration, drawing curious glances from onlookers. This subplot adds a fresh layer of intrigue to the week's events, reminding us that even in a town full of mobsters and millionaires, the stakes of personal ambition can be just as high. Next, we will delve into the heart-wrenching drama unfolding in Port Charles, where a father's misguided anger towards his own unknown son is tearing at the heartstrings of every General Hospital fan. Thursday's episode promises to deliver a father-son confrontation so emotionally charged that it might just go down as one of the most tragic family sagas in recent GH history. With layers of secrets, dramatic irony, and raw performances, this storyline is heating up to be an unforgettable roller coaster. Let's explore the devastating events that led to this point, introduce fresh perspectives on the conflict, and paint a vivid picture of the turmoil that awaits Dante Falconeri, Gio Palmieri, and their unsuspecting family. The spark that ignited a family firestorm? The roots of this gut-wrenching drama trace back to a seemingly innocent gathering that turned catastrophic, a bonfire party that took a dark turn when Rocco, Dante's young son, collapsed after sipping a spiked punch. Amid the chaos, Gio Palmieri and Danny Morgan were the ones who stepped in to assist, their quick thinking a desperate attempt to stabilize Rocco. Yet, in the heat of paternal panic, Dante lashed out, pinning the blame squarely on Gio for not dialing 911 immediately. At first glance, it seemed like a classic case of a protective father overreacting under stress, his frustration boiling over at the thought of his child in peril. But oh, how appearances can deceive in the tangled web of Port Charles. What Dante doesn't realize, and what transforms this incident into a masterclass of soap opera irony, is the devastating truth lurking beneath his accusations. Gio, the target of his fiery scorn, isn't just some reckless teen who happened to be at the scene. No, Gio is Dante's biological son, born from a long-ago romance with Brooklyn Quartermain, a connection buried in the sands of time. Envision Dante, his face contorted with rage as he scolds Gio, completely unaware that every harsh word is a dagger to the heart of his own flesh and blood. It's a scene that's almost too painful to watch, knowing the love that could have been if only the truth were out. This misunderstanding, fueled by a lack of knowledge, has set the stage for a family tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, with every heated exchange adding fuel to an already raging inferno. Thursday's emotional showdown, a clash of blood and blindness. Brace yourselves, GH fans, because Thursday's episode is set to elevate this family feud to new heights of emotional intensity. Sources close to the set reveal that Dante will double down on his grudge against Gio, unleashing a torrent of accusations that will spark a fiery confrontation not just with Gio, but with Rocco as well. Picture this: Rocco, fiercely loyal to the friend who stood by him in crisis, steps up to defend Gio with a passion that surprises even himself. Unbeknownst to him, he's advocating for his half-brother, a bond of blood neither boy could fathom. The dramatic irony is palpable, hanging heavy in the air as father and son clash over a truth that remains just out of reach. Insiders whisper that Finn Carr, portraying Rocco, delivers a performance brimming with youthful defiance and raw emotion, capturing the frustration of a child caught between admiration for his friend and disappointment in his father's harsh judgment. Meanwhile, Dominic Zamprogna as Dante is said to have left the crew in awe, his portrayal of blind rage and misplaced anger so authentic that it reportedly moved onlookers to tears. Imagine Dante's voice, thick with venom, as he condemns Gio, each word a brick in the wall separating him from the son he doesn't know he has. It's a heartbreaking tableau, made even more poignant by the audience's awareness of the secret that could change everything. This scene isn't just a fight, it's a devastating glimpse into the pain of a family fractured by secrets, a moment that will linger long after the credits roll. The paternity secret, a truth waiting to detonate. The undercurrent of this tragedy gained momentum earlier in the week when Lulu Spencer, ever the keeper of explosive revelations, confided in Carly about Gio's true parentage. Tuesday's episode had fans on the edge of their seats, shouting at their screens for anyone to clue Dante in on the life-altering news. But, as is the way of soap operas, truths in Port Charles don't emerge gently. They erupt like volcanoes at the most inopportune moments, leaving devastation in their wake. Picture Lulu's conflicted expression as she wrestles with whether to shatter Dante's world with this bombshell, her loyalty to her ex warring with the weight of a secret too heavy to bear alone. The tension is electric, a ticking clock counting down to an inevitable explosion. Delving into the backstory adds even more layers to this emotional quagmire. Word around town suggests that Gio's origins stem from a youthful fling between Dante and Brooke Lynn, a fleeting passion that resulted in a pregnancy neither was prepared to face. Brooke Lynn, perhaps overwhelmed by the responsibilities of impending motherhood at a tender age, made the heart-wrenching decision to place her baby for adoption. The Palmieri family welcomed Gio as their own, raising him with love far from the drama of Port Charles. Now fate has brought him back into the orbit of his biological parents, neither of whom recognize the young man standing before them as their long-lost child. Visualize Gio, a bright-eyed teen with dreams of his own, utterly clueless to the storm of identity swirling around him, his every interaction with Dante a missed opportunity for connection. It's a classic soap trope executed with devastating precision, a reminder of the cyclical nature of secrets and surprises in this beloved series. Poetic parallels, history repeats in Port Charles. For longtime General Hospital devotees, this storyline carries an extra layer of resonance, echoing a chapter from Dante's own past. Recall the moment Dominic Semprogna debuted as Dante, unveiled as Sonny Corinthos' unknown son, a revelation that reshaped family dynamics and ignited years of storytelling. Now the narrative has come full circle, with Dante cast in the role of the unaware parent, blind to the child who shares his blood. There's a poetic symmetry here, a mirror held up to history that underscores the enduring theme of hidden legacies in Port Charles. Imagine the ghostly echoes of Sonny's initial rejection of Dante playing in the background as Dante unknowingly pushes Gio away, a generational dance of misunderstanding and missed chances. This parallel isn't just a nod to loyal viewers, it's a testament to the writer's knack for weaving intricate, interconnected tales that span decades. Picture a future montage, perhaps, where Dante reflects on this moment with the same regret Sonny once felt, a bitter realization of time lost to secrets. The emotional weight of this repetition amplifies the current drama, making every harsh word from Dante to Gio feel like a wound, not just to their relationship, but to the very fabric of family history in General Hospital. It's a narrative choice that feels both inevitable and heartbreaking, a reminder that in Port Charles, the past is never truly buried, it's merely waiting for the right moment to resurface. Looking ahead, a family on the brink. As Thursday's episode looms, the stage is set for a family saga that will test the bonds of love, loyalty, and forgiveness in ways we've rarely seen on General Hospital. Will Dante's anger continue to blind him to the truth, driving an even deeper wedge between him and Gio? Or could a sliver of doubt, perhaps a familiar gesture, or a striking resemblance begin to crack the wall of his assumptions? Envision Rocco, caught in the crossfire, grappling with his own confusion as he defends a friend who feels more like family than he can explain. And what of Brooke Lynn, whose own journey with this secret remains a ticking time bomb of her own? The potential for heartbreak and healing is immense, each character poised on the edge of a revelation that could either unite or destroy them. This storyline is a masterstroke of emotional storytelling, blending the classic soap elements of hidden paternity with raw, relatable human conflict. From the bonfire mishap that sparked this inferno to the shattering confrontation awaiting us, every beat is designed to keep viewers invested, tears at the ready. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for the latest updates on this unfolding tragedy, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Which moment in this father-son drama has hit you the hardest? Let's keep the conversation going as we brace for Thursday's unforgettable episode.